What's up, contractors? Today we will be roasting more contractor truck wraps. We're going to go through a bunch of the common mistakes that we see and all the things you should do to make sure that you're getting your money's worth out of your truck wrap. Okay, so our first wrap here, there's a lot I like about this wrap and a few things I don't. As we're looking at these, something important to note is your truck wrap should do 4 things for you, okay? First, it should catch the attention of your ideal client, give them a clear understanding of who you are and what you do. Third, it needs to leave a positive impression of your brand. And then last, it needs to give them a clear direction where to go to if they want to learn more about your company. I have to notice it, then I have to understand what it offers, then I have to say, okay, I think I'm interested in what they're offering. How do I do that? Okay, so let's apply all of that to this wrap here. So it's a cool wrap right off the bat. It definitely is eye-catching, so that checks the first box. It shows us what they do. It's very clear they are a roofing company. I'm not as much a fan of the phone number. A lot of people don't want an immediate contact with a person. They would rather look and gauge you a little bit as to how trustworthy are you and make that decision-making process on their own. If you lead them back to a website, you can have that do more of the selling for you. But if you decide to go with a phone number, this is the way to do it. It's very clear where you want them to go. It's honestly the second biggest thing on the wrap. The one thing I'll say about this wrap that I'm not a fan of, a lot of truck wraps fall into this trap of being cool. This one is cool, but it also looks a little bit rugged. If you look at these designs here, it looks kind of broken apart, and that's not necessarily what you're going for as a roofing company. You'd rather it be kind of a clean design, very pristine. So all in all, I think I would give this truck wrap probably an 8. It is pretty solid altogether. We will look at a lot that there's a lot more to learn from. I think we'll start off easy with this guy here. Let's look at something different, more of a design build contractor. Okay, so here we have a partial truck wrap for Snap Construction Inc., remodeler, but they also have here this list of things that they do: storm restoration, insulation, windows, roofing, siding, decks. If you watched my last video, I mentioned that I'm not a fan of the way that these are listed on truck wraps, having your services listed. I stand by that to the extent of ideally you don't need to do it. But if it's not clear enough in your current logo and branding what you do, Snap Construction doesn't tell me too much about the company. That could be a residential contractor, that could be a commercial contractor. It says it's that easy. A fun logo here would lead me to think residential, but if I see this driving down the road, it's not immediately clear for me. But if you find that you need to list your services to make sure it's clear what you do, this is the way to do it. Build it into the shape of the truck and the wrap itself so it doesn't look like it's just pasted on. Whereas you can see, like in an example like this, it's literally just a bulleted list of services, no design thought put into it whatsoever. I have no idea what the heck's going on with this wrap. It's from Fiverr and also says Caspinty, which I think is supposed to be carpentry, but that's horrendous. I don't know what's going on there. To compare this to another remodeler that looks similar, same industry, here is a truck wrap from the company Kick Charge. So here's one that they did for Fontana Construction, and right away you can see similar colors here. You have the blue and the orange. It's a construction, looks to be both residential, more of a matte finish, and this is the more modern look here on the right versus the shinier, textured, old style of designing here on the left. You can still make it look like you've been around for a while through your design choices, like these classic looking fonts. It has a very classic look to it. However, it doesn't look dated quite as much as this. It still seems like a modern take on a classic. Lastly, another thing to consider is leaving a positive impression. That can mean different things for different industries. A service-based industry like this one, Technique Fence, you're not quite as worried about the design aesthetic of it, because when people hire a fencing contractor, they're not thinking as much about, oh, what does their design sense look like? It's more of a concern of, will it work? Whereas this truck wrap here, you're much more concerned about, do they have what it takes design-wise to build in my home? As you get in with the higher-end homeowners, the people who want to pay more money for the design build companies, they're looking for something more like here on the right than here on the left. Not a terrible wrap. I would rate this one a little bit lower, maybe a 6, but it's not a bad wrap. All right, this one's bad. If you're looking at this and you're like, well, my industry is not typically a sexy industry, whether you're a plumber or electrician or something, this is garage floor coating. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but it's pretty bottom of the barrel as far as sexy industries. And the wrap itself is not great. Well, right off the bat, is it super eye-catching? Honestly, no. Is it clear what they do? Garage floor coating, it says it there. At the same time, the biggest thing on the wrap says SSP Coatings, which that in itself tells me nothing about the company. Does it leave a positive impression? It's fine. Again, I don't think it stands out, which makes it very hard to leave a positive impression. And in Clear CTA, the phone number seems to be the clear thing they want you to go to, either that or the website, but it's kind of all mixed in here. So I give it a maybe. What's interesting though, the person who designed this wrap also designed this wrap here, Repairsmith. It's very simple what they do. It's a fantastic wrap. Like, it's much more eye-catching with the colors. Car repair delivered, gives you a clear idea of what their service is. That's a great wrap. How does the same designer do this and this? I'd be willing to bet a decent amount of money that this truck wrap up here is probably the victim of what I would consider a half-baked brand. I'll call it that, a half-baked brand. Let me walk you through that a little bit. The way I think of it is your logo is the seed of your brand. So everything you do should kind of stem from that, but it should all be in there. All it needs to be packed in there somewhere. And the seed of this brand is SSP Coatings and a Spartan helmet. It's not clear what they do. You need the subtitle of Garage Floor Coating to tell you what it is. I don't have a good qualitative judgment about them as well. If I was being generous, I would say that maybe they fight for their clients, but that's so vague, I don't even know what that means. So when you start off with a logo as generic as this, then you're much more likely to end up with a generic looking truck wrap like this. In total, I think I'd give this wrap like a 3 or a 2. This one is rough. Here's another person that does garage floor coating, and they do it so much better. Granite Garage Floors. Again, thinking about the seed of an idea. Right away, that logo, Granite Garage Floors, Epoxy Coating Systems, tells me immediately what they do. Granite, kind of the connotation of granite. Somebody sees that and they think luxury, they think something sturdy, something reliable. Granite Garage Floors, you immediately have the understanding they're going to do my garage floor and they're going to do a good job. That's what the logo is telling you. So from that seed, we then have this excellent truck wrap. I like this one a lot. Does your garage floor need a makeover? Here's the phone number. Here's the website to go to. This is fantastic. First off, is it eye-catching? I'd say entirely so. So they were able to simplify their colors down to basically black for the base, then a little bit of white, and then the yellow draws your eye to the points that you want to highlight. They were even able to take that same yellow and work it into the brake pad here on the tire, and then the copy on it as well. Does your garage floor need a makeover? They could have used this space to do anything. They could have listed out their services, they could have done more photos of their work, but instead they went with a clear call to action. This is the thing that we offer. Does your garage floor need a makeover? Call us. I think that's fantastic. Simplify what you're trying to communicate down to like a single thing that somebody can get. Again, they're just going to see it for a second going down the side of the road. So that one is fantastic. Immediately looking upon this, I'm going to trust this brand a lot more than I'm going to trust this brand. Again, if you're in another service industry, I would be looking at this as, if they can do it for garage floor coating, I can do it here. Let's bring it all together here with different industry decking. Based on everything we've talked about, let's see if we can go through and analyze these together. Okay, so the first one we have is decking decks. Decent name, I guess. Building your better outdoor lifestyle. Something I really like immediately is they're not talking about the types of wood they use or the processes they use, but immediately getting to that deeper level of building your better outdoor lifestyle. Realizing that people aren't looking to get a deck just for the goal of having a deck. They're looking to do something on it, to live outdoors better, to invite people over, have family, things like that. Whereas this Here's a great example. This is about everything you can do wrong. See how there's an immediate difference between, on the last one they were selling living outdoor better. This one is selling fence and deck stain. Much lower value proposition there. Finding somebody who can stain your deck versus somebody that can change your lifestyle. So slightly different industry here. This one doesn't look like they're building decks for you. So this isn't necessarily wrong. You're just not setting yourself up to work with higher end clients this way. Here's a great example of using a photo on the truck poorly. We got a ton of colors all playing in together. Fence and deck stain, you have some CTAs, but it just looks like a mess. Let's see if there's something right in the middle. Okay, so this is interesting. So you have a deck company, Sydney, Australia decking company. Again, big old photo on there. The whole wrap looks like a wood. If you're going to do a big statement like that, like having your whole wrap be wood, it's not a bad idea. But then just make sure you simplify what you're putting on top. You have that wooden wrap and then one color on top. Very simple, clear CTA. We'll do one more and then I'll wrap things up and kind of show you, if I were to hire a designer, here's some things I would look for. Here's one here that is, I think, fantastic. On Point Home Maintenance. They do handyman repair, remodeling, snow removal, lawn care. They have found a way to incorporate this list of things, but not having it be crowding or feeling awkward. They've put it in here in a nice way. The rest of the wrap is so simple that it doesn't feel crowded. It kind of draws your eye over here. Then you have their tagline of done once, done right, done anytime. Super simple color scheme here. It's really just the two colors, the gray and that beige. Ironically, you would think with those colors it wouldn't stand out, but if you see this going down the road, I think it's just so unique and so bold, having the two-tone look. I do think it's eye-catching, immediately tells you what to do, leaves a super solid impression. If you're looking for somebody to come in and be like some sort of handyman repair, you want it to be simple and clean and trustworthy. That's what this tells me. And then from there, I have a clear phone number and then a website to go to. I like that one a lot. If you're looking at these and you're thinking, I probably do have a half-baked brand, I would highly suggest taking your money, not immediately putting it into a truck wrap, and looking more into redoing your logo and brand design. Finding someone that can do that for you instead. Somebody that's willing to kind of ask you the questions of, those deeper level questions that you haven't thought about of, what do you really provide? What's your number one unique selling proposition? What's the number one that makes you different from your competition? And how can we put that into a logo and brand that immediately conveys that, as opposed to something that looks generic like that SSP. At CGN, we do some of that work here as well with clients that will come in with their kind of like somewhat bad-looking logo and ask us to design their website or something like that. And we will take a step back with them and be like, actually, before we go through and make that website, the first thing we need to do is work on your brand. So if you think you're in that case, I would recommend looking for somebody that can do your logos for you. Another option is, I have no formal partnership with KickCharge, but everything I see these people put out looks like they're working with well-built brands. I know that they don't just do the wraps, they work at building the brands themselves. It's a more expensive option, it might be later down the line, but if you can afford it, especially for service industries, these guys seem to do a good job. If you don't have that kind of money and you're looking to go on a Fiverr or something like that, or maybe a local designer, what I would highly recommend is make sure that you look at their portfolio of work, take a look at them, make sure that their stuff is in line with what you're looking for. Given those 4 questions I had about truck wraps today, analyze some of those for yourself and see, does this align with what I'm trying to do with the truck wrap, or are they just making cool wraps? All right, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you go through this video and have more questions about truck wraps or hiring designers, please let me know down in the comments. That will help us as we make future videos, or I'll try to respond to all of that and give you guys helpful suggestions of what to do. If you haven't seen the verse video, the link for that is here. I will catch you guys later. Again, extreme kitchens. If a high-end person is looking for their kitchen to be designed, they're not looking for it to be extreme. That's funny.